Hello everyone, I am Assistant Professor Yasvi Shezai from Agricultural Engineering Department, and this is topic number 5 from YSC 217. Okay, and it includes study of irrigation systems in greenhouse. Okay, now first point is the time for irrigation. Okay, the irrigation is generally applied on a daily or alternately based on the moisture status of the growing media. Okay, so the best time of irrigation is in the morning or evening. Okay, and it is better to avoid the irrigation during the maximum temperature or maximum transpiration rate. Okay, and then the moisture status should always be at field capacity. Now, what is meant by field capacity? It is the amount of soil moisture or water content held in the soil after excess water has drained away. Okay, and the rate of downward movement has decreased. Okay, and this usually takes place 2 to 3 days after rain. Okay, so it means that field capacity, this is the soil moisture constant. There are different types of soil moisture constants like field capacity, ultimate wilting point, then wilting point, etc. Okay, and field capacity, this condition generally generate after 2 to 3 days after rain or after irrigation. Okay, then a more reliable and a precise method of determining the time of irrigation is to use a sensing device such as tensiometer or soil conductivity meter, okay, for indicating the soil moisture level. Then there are different types of methods of irrigation. So first one, that is flooding, hand watering, then perimeter watering, then sprinkler irrigation, drip irrigation, etc. Now in case of flooding irrigation, it is very primitive type of system and it is little used in the greenhouse. Almost it is not used in a greenhouse. And the next method is that perimeter watering. Okay, perimeter watering system can be used for the crop production in benches or beds. Okay, a typical system consists of plastic pipe around the perimeter of a bench with nozzles with spray water which spray the water over the substrate surface below the foliage. Okay, now what is meant by substrate? Substrate, it is the surface or material over which an organism lives or grow. Okay, and in perimeter watering, there is a this system is typically consists of plastic pipe system around the perimeter of the bench with nozzles. Okay, and the application of the water takes place over the substrate surface in the form of spray. After that, either polyethylene or PVC pipes can be used. While PVC pipe has the advantage of being very stationary, and a polyethylene pipe tends to roll if it is not anchored firmly to the side of the bench. Okay, then this causes the nozzles to rise or fall from a proper orientation to the substrate surface. Okay, then the nozzles are made up of nylon or hard plastic and are available to put out a put out a spray of arc of about 180 degree, 90 degree or 45 degree. Regardless of the types of nozzles used, they are staggered across the benches so that each nozzle projects out between two other nozzles on the opposite side. Okay, and a perimeter watering system with 180 degree nozzles requires one water valve for benches up to 30.5 meter in length. Then for benches over 30.5 meter and up to 61 meter, a water main should be installed. Main line should be installed on either side, one to serve each half of the bench. Okay, this system applies about 1.25 liter per minute per meter of pipe where 180 degree and 90 degree or 45 degree nozzles are alternated, and the length of the bench serviced by one water valve should not be exceeds than 23 meter. Now the next type of system, that is overhead sprinkler. While the foliage on the majority of the crops should be kept dry for a disease control purpose, okay, and some few crops can tolerate wet foliage, and these type of crops can most easily and cheaply be irrigated from overhead, okay. And bedding plants like azalea liners and some green plants are commonly watered from the overhead, okay. And a pipe is installed along the middle of the bed, and riser pipes are installed periodically to a height well above the final height of the crop, okay. And then a total height of about 0.6 meter is sufficient for bedding plant, and then 1.8 meter for fresh flowers, okay. Then a nozzle is installed at the top of each riser, and nozzles vary from those that throw 360 pattern continuously to the types that rotates around 360 circles, okay. Then trays are sometimes placed under the pots to collect the water, and that would otherwise fall on the ground between these pots is wasted, okay. So each tray is a square and meets the adjacent tray, okay, so we can reduce the water loss. Then in this way nearly all the water is intercepted, and then each tray has a depression to accommodate the pot, and is then angled upward from the pot toward the tray perimeter, okay. And the tray have drain holes which allow the drainage of excess water and store the certain quantity which is subsequently absorbed by the substrate. And this is the example of overhead sprinkler. This is riser, and here is the actual nozzle, okay. Then next is that drip irrigation, okay. In drip irrigation it is often referred as a trickle irrigation. It is important. Drip irrigation is often referred as a trickle irrigation, okay. Now it consists of laying plastic tubes of a small diameter on the surface or subsurface of the field, those called as laterals or a greenhouse, beside or beneath the plants, okay. In general, the application efficiency is about 90 to 95% compared with the sprinkler at 70%, and furrow irrigation at 60 to 80%, depending upon the soil type, level of the field, and how the water is applied to the furrows, okay. So the efficiency of drip irrigation, that is about 90 to 95%, and for sprinkler that is about 70%, okay. And this is the drip irrigation system. It consists of here pump, then different types of filters according to the need, and main line. This is the main line, and this is the sub main, okay. And it is connected to the laterals, and laterals have the drippers or emitters, okay. Then here is the flush wall, here is the ball wall, etc., okay. Now there are okay, these are the different components of drip irrigation. So let's see the one by one. So first component, that is pump which carries the water from the source through the main line, then lateral lines up to the dripper from where it is applied to the crop, okay. The next component is that filter unit removes the suspended impurities in the irrigation water so as to prevent the blockage of the holes and passage of the drip and the passage of drip nozzles, okay. Then next component is that main line. The main line carries the water from the filtration system to the sub main, okay, and they are made up of normally PVC and HDFE pipe. Here is not HDFE, it is HDPE, okay, means high density polyethylene pipes, or PVC means polyvinyl chloride, okay. The next component is that submain. The submain distribute the water from the main line to the laterals. Okay, and submains is made up of rigid PVC material. Okay. The next component, that is lateral. The lateral distribute the water to the emitters, which delivers the water directly to the root zone. Okay, and it is made up of low density polyethylene. Okay, this is important. Here the main line is made up of high density polyethylene, and here that is lateral, that is made by linear low density polyethylene. Okay, that is the type of material. Then number 6, or next component, that is emitter or dripper. They discharge the water from the lateral to the soil near the root zone of the plant. Okay, and they are made up of polyethylene or polypropylene, and discharge ranges between 1 to 16 liters per hour. Okay, for emitter or dripper. Okay, here all the types of irrigation methods, those particularly used in the greenhouse, are finished. So we will stop here. Thank you for listening.